What's going on, everyone? Welcome y'all to our first edition of our OA summer panels. Woo! Super exciting stuff, y'all. Um, we are so glad to have y'all here with us. And as a quick reminder, an OA, which I just says our OA summer panels, an OA is an orientation advisor. And we are all orientation advisors here. And so all of us are current students at UT who are basically here just to support your transition to UT. And you'll see us at orientation, and we'll also be engaging with you on social media all throughout the summer. And once you get onto campus, we are here to be a friend, a resource, mentor, all that kind of good stuff, just to help you once you get here as well. But yeah, so in this specific panel, we are here to chat about getting prepared for your first year of college as a UT Austin student. We'll share some practical tips and helpful information that will get you ready for the start of your Longhorn journey. So yeah, we'll share a little bit about our stories, our experiences here at UT, and also just some advice that we think might help you, things that we wish we would have known, or things that helped us once we got here. So we'll have a few questions that we'll go through with a couple different people answering each of them. But feel free to throw any other questions you have in the comments, and we'll have some people responding to those as you do that. But yeah, so everybody ready to get started? Good to go? All right, sick, awesome. So that being said, we'll just start with some introductions first, and I will lead us off. My name is Sean. I am actually, I just graduated. I was a communication and leadership major. Thank y'all. And yeah, I just graduated this spring. It was tons of fun. And yeah, so like I said, I was a communication and leadership major. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am from McAllen, Texas. So Puro 956, if we got any Valley kids out there, always got a rep. And yeah, so I will pass it on to Addie now.
Hi, my name is Addie. I'm a second year advertising major, and I'm from Frisco, Texas, and my pronouns are she, her, hers.
Hi, y'all. My name's Nat, and I am a rising junior from Brownsville, Texas. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and my major is interpersonal communication with a minor in social work.
Hey guys, my name is Alice McGrath. I go by she, her pronouns, and I am a rising sophomore from Maynard, Texas. I am a biology major on the pre-med route, and I'm completing a bridging discipline certificate.
Hey y'all, my name is Shelby. I go by she, her pronouns. I'm a third year sociology pre-law major with a minor in government, and I'm from Houston, Texas.
Hello, everyone. My name is Arnold, and I am from Deer Park, Texas. I am a chemistry BSA major going on pre-med as well. I'm also completing a pre-health and Spanish certificate, and my pronouns are he, him.
All right, that's everyone. Now you know a little bit more about who our panelists are. And yeah, so just to go over a little bit of what our format's going to be. So like I said, I have a few questions I'm going to ask, and we're going to have two OAs answer all the questions we go through. I'll also pop my some advice in there as we go along as well. And yeah, so we are going to get started. So to begin with this first question, I'm going to ask Alice and Arnold to answer this one. And so the first question is, coming into UT, there's a lot to prepare before you start here in college. So, how do you keep from feeling too overwhelmed? We'll pass it over to Alice first.
Okay, thank you, Sean. Whenever I prepare for the beginning of the semester, I like to take things slow, like one step at a time, so I can try to organize everything. So whenever you're planning out for schedules or move-in stuff or whatever else you have going on, make sure you take separate days to plan them out individually, and take breathers and do whatever you want or you can to relax your mind.
Fantastic advice, Alice. Yeah, got to keep a cool head. All right, what do you think, Arnold?
So college can definitely get overwhelming really quickly. So using a planner is great. I actually never used one in high school, but now I do to keep track of due dates and other important dates on my calendar. Also using the Pomodoro or 50-10 technique, the study technique, is a great way to study while also maintaining mental health. There's also the Counseling and Mental Health Center, or the CMHC, which also offers support and counseling for students.
Awesome. Thank you. Those both some really practical answers. So appreciate that a lot. Sometimes, in the conversation of, how do you take care of yourself? A lot of just random, vague words are thrown out there a lot. So we really appreciate y'all giving some real specific answers. All right. So yeah, great answers. And now we'll move on to our second question. So the second question is going to be for Alice and for myself. And that question is, how do you prepare if you're going to be living off campus for your first semester? And I'll pass it over to Alice first.
Okay, thank you, Sean. So whenever living off campus, first make sure your living arrangements are all taken care of. So whether you're getting an apartment, check the lease, make sure you read through it, or if you're staying with somebody, make sure that's all taken care of. Then make a list of like things you're gonna need to like buy, and so you can prepare to move in. Also figure out transportation and financial issues, so, like if you need or you want a job, or if you're gonna bring your car or like ride the bus, you can check out the routes. And also make sure to estimate how much you're going to spend like each month on food, school, and like on yourself if you want to have fun. And if you want, you can look up offcampus.utexas.edu. They have great resources for you.
Thank you for mentioning that resource, Alice. I'm sure while this video is being played later on, we'll have somebody in the comments dropping that website. So thank you for mentioning that. And that's a lot of great advice about, just actually preparing before you, like you said, you move into that actual space. Finding out, finances, routes, like all that is really, really important. And you covered basically everything I could have said. The few things that I will also mention is, being that you're, moving on your own for the first time a lot, especially because you're going to be off campus, which would mean like, a lot of times in the residence halls, they try to help you a little bit, guide you through some of these, first steps of independency. But being that you're on your own, I would say before you take off, just, look, kind of watch, whoever your parents, whoever your caregivers are at the time, and like watch some of the things they do, some of the little tricks, ask them like about tips on doing laundry, small things like that, practice setting your own alarm, setting a schedule for yourself and trying to stick to it, when you have less going on. I think that's a big help, because you'll have to just kind of hop into doing that right when you get here. And I would also say once you get in your actual space, figure out how far away you are from a lot of things, like kind of like Alice was saying with like bus routes, whether you're walking or driving to campus or like groceries, all that kind of stuff, just figure out about how long those things take. Maybe walk the route, drive the route, just whatever it is to get yourself a little bit more familiar with your surroundings. That'll help big time. And it'll help it feel a little more like home quicker, I think, too. All right, so that was question number 2. Thank you, Alice, for your great advice. I hope I was able to just add a little more to it. And now we'll move on to question number 3. So for this third question, I'm going to be asking Nat and myself again. I'm sorry. I know I want to butt in a little bit. I apologize. So for this question, it's going to be, what's it like to live in a residence hall? How much space is there? And what else do I need to think about? And Nat and I, by the way, are both RAs, or for me, was an RA. And so we have a lot of experience living in residence hall. So I'll pass it over to Nat to give her advice first.
Yes, this next year is going to be my 3rd year living in residence halls, so I can definitely kind of speak to this. Living in a residence hall, in my experience, has been amazing, because you truly do have just a built-in community surrounding you. And so your peers are there to help you, but you have an RA that's going to be assigned to you to guide you in whatever ways you need. So I personally have loved living on campus. In terms of space, so it varies a lot from building to building on campus, but most of them are roughly about 200 square feet. And that is typically shared by 2 people. But you can check housing.utexas.edu to see 3D virtual tours of all the different buildings on campus, which is a really great resource, because you can see exactly what your space is going to look like in advance. So.
Great resource there, Nat. I 100% agree. You also check out those 3D tours. Those are super, super helppful. And I similarly to Nat, I also think that like living in a residence hall is gonna be really, really beneficial. Which, by the way, in case I don't think I defined what an RA was, and I don't know if you did, Nat, yet. But we're basically resident assistants, which means that like we're in charge of like basically like a part of the floor that you're going to be living on. So we can be in charge of anywhere from like 30 to like 60 students, depending on the numbers in the hall. But yeah, our whole job is kind of like an OA, but just, all year round. We're just supposed to be like, a connector to resources, a friend to y'all, a mentor, somebody that can listen to you if anything's going on, just, a good friend. So, that being said, I'll bounce off of Nat's answer to say that, living in a residence hall, I think one of the biggest pluses to it is just the community you get to find when you're there. You interact. It's somewhat close, spaces, but you share the same dining halls. Like you said, you have roommates. There's always like community meetings and community like programs going on, because your RAs are always throwing a bunch of like fun programs, try to get y'all, engaged, interacting with each other, providing y'all with like free gifts and things like that. So, and also living in a residence hall, oftentimes it puts you at a more like, in a more central location to your classes and all kind of activities than you would have normally. Like I've been an RA in Jester, and like, depending on where you like, there's resources, certain resources are closer depending on where you are on campus. Like for Jester, right, I can speak to PCL, the biggest library on campus is right there. You have Gregory Gym right, right across the street. You've got a couple dining halls inside of Jester as well. So, just depending on, maybe where your classes are or where you think you might be situated more often, like that might be something to keep in mind when you're choosing a residence hall. But all in all, we might be a little biased because we're RAs, but we both really, really enjoy the residence hall experience. And, and I'm sure if any of y'all get to have Nat as an RA, y'all be super lucky and y'all really enjoy it. So, yeah, so that was question 3. And now we're going to bounce it over to question 4. And that question is going to be also for Nat and for Alice. So, what cleaning supplies do they need? What, in the cleaning department, what's going on? How do they keep things tidy? And I'll pass it over to Nat first.
Oh, I think Alice is actually taking over this one.
My apologies. Wrong order on my script. Alice,
No
why don't you go
worries.
first?
No.
Yeah, so whenever living on campus, I recommend bringing some wipes. I know some students like to wipe down their dorm whenever they first come in. Also some window sprays, bathroom cleaners such as Kaboom, toilet cleaner, a toilet scrubber, trash bags, paper towels, laundry detergent, or fabric softeners for like your clothes, etc. Whenever you're living off campus, all the things I just said before, plus brooms, a dustpan, or like a mop or something to wipe your floors, maybe a Swiffer or a vacuum.
Yeah, and just to really quickly add on to what Alice was saying, if you do happen to live on campus, don't worry about bringing a vacuum or bringing a broom, because those are things that you're going to be able to super easily check out at your front desk whenever you need them, which is a really, other great part of living on campus, just all of those things that are available to you at the ready.
Those are all great resources. Thank y'all so much for mentioning those. I could probably take some use from that. I got like a broom and like some paper towels, and like that's like that's I'm topping it out with my cleaning supplies there. So all great stuff. Thank y'all for mentioning that. And thank y'all for differentiating between like off campus and on campus. I think that's really, really helpful. But yeah, so that was question 4, and we'll now be moving on to question 5. And this question is going to be for Arnold and for Shelby. And that question is, what are some important things that students often forget to bring? Help us out here. I'll send it over to Arnold first.
Yeah, so something important that may seem a little obvious are water bottles for sure. We live in Texas, it can get really hot in Texas really quickly, and we tend to get dehydrated and sometimes forget to drink waters because we have these really packed schedules throughout the day. So it's always important to have a water bottle next to you to stay hydrated. And it's also been studies have shown that staying hydrated can also improve concentration. So that's a big plus. And also, regardless, even if you're virtual or hybrid, if you're walking around on campus in the heat or staying indoors, it's very important to stay hydrated throughout the day.
Could not agree more, Arnold. I got you right here, getting on camera. I've been drinking as we've gone along. No, I can attest to like being on campus and like forgetting my water bottle one day, and it just totally throwing things off because like my head starts to hurt. It's not a fun time. So great tip there, Arnold. And I will. Yes, now we can pass it over to Shelby.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. I think something that's really important that people normally kind of forget is medicine. When you get those yearly allergies or yearly cold, it's always clutch to have some medicine that you can use. That way you don't have to like worry about running down to the store or anything to go buy those. Also, an umbrella is very clutch to have. It was a couple of times that I walked to class, came drenched because I didn't have an umbrella. So definitely make sure you have the umbrella so that when it does rain, you're protected. Also, something important to bring is some business clothes. Sometimes around campus, they'll have networking events where you get to speak to business professionals about your future career. So that's definitely clutch to have. And also shower shoes. If you have a community shower, definitely bring those shower shoes because they can get dirty at times.
All great things as well, Shelby. I was trying to find my umbrella for reference. I have my nice UT poncho right here though. Boom. Pick it up at the co-op. Kind of overpriced, not gonna lie, but what else? What isn't there? But no, fantastic advice, Shelby, for sure. Oh, and gosh, with the medicine, like I remember I didn't pack medicine, but like first time I got sick, thank goodness my mom was like, I put it in your bag, like look at that. And so I was able to find it, super clutch. From then on, yeah, medicine always, always keep that with me. Yeah, fantastic answers, y'all. Thanks so much for contributing. And yeah, so now we'll move on to question 6. And this question is going to be for Shelby and myself again, got to get it in there. And this question is going to be, what are some good staple foods to keep in the dorm or in your off-campus apartment? And I'll send it over to Shelby to answer that first.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. I think some really good foods, and especially something very quick and inexpensive, are things like ramen, ravioli, Totino's pizza rolls. And also, if you're on campus, you can get stuff like cheap groceries like sandwiches, spaghetti, hot dogs, hamburgers. Those are very inexpensive but easy things to cook. And if you're staying on campus in the dorm, you can also check out pots and pans or other cooking utensils from the front desk if you need those.
Fantastic advice. I also think that because you want to try, like, especially if you're off campus, right? You want to like try to eat healthy, right? Cook things on your own, like things, and then try to like work those in. But especially like you're just gonna run into times too, especially where you need something kind of quick, that's fast, and a lot of those are great, great options. And speaking to something that Shelby mentioned too, getting things like making bigger meals, whether it's like spaghetti, things like that, like making that on a weekend, like a Saturday or Sunday, having it for like 3-4 meals spread throughout the week. Also a fantastic idea. I would really, really recommend. You can look on Pinterest for some really good, just kind of simple, recipes, things. It's a good resource that I have used myself. Yeah, so I will just add on to that by also saying that whether you're living on or off campus, like the Target that's really close to the campus has some fresh produce and fresh fruit, and that has really saved me a lot because especially when you're going throughout your day, just having like a little cutie, a little orange something, or banana, an apple, something like that to get it in, or like just like some veggies, some ranch in the evening, just so cap out a meal, make it a little more balanced. All that really, really goes a long way. And I would also just mention that a couple other things you can keep on you that are really easy are like grilled cheese stuff, super simple, microwavable meals like I mentioned, baked potatoes, like salad stuff, like things that won't take you a long time to make, and like I said, that will carry for multiple meals are a really good option. And in the dorms you won't have your own kitchen, right? But they have a kitchen space that hopefully next year they'll open it up again so you can check out the key and use it. And then obviously if you're off campus, you'll have a kitchen to prepare things in. Yeah. So that was question 6, and now we're moving on to question 7. That we only got 3 more questions, y'all. So stay with us. So for this question, it's going to be for Addie and for Nat. And the question is, what should we do to prepare for our first week of classes? This is, I know, something a lot of students are probably thinking about. So Addie, why don't you answer that first?
Yeah, thank you, Sean. I would say like a week before classes start, once you're on campus and you have some time to explore, find like where you need to go and how much time it takes for you to get from building to building, because if your classes are stacked, that will come in handy because you want to maximize your time, obviously. And it's also important in case you want to take some breaks, which are also really important, that you need to take throughout the day. So make sure you have some time to, calm down, drink some water, get a snack, and just make sure you know where you're going and have some time to do that. Yeah.
Great advice, Addie. Like, the breaks are huge. You guys, college, like I said, you can get in the cycle of feeling like you always need to be doing something else. There's always something else to prepare for, but you're going to do, everything on your schedule, on your plate, your to-do list. You'll be able to do it much better, and you'll feel much better as you're doing them if you give yourself those breaks. Huge thing. And then, yeah, finding where you need to go is also, that's going to make things a lot less stressful for that first day, because you'll have walked it a couple times, whatever, so you'll know exactly where you got to go. Super great advice there, Addie. And I'll pass it over to Nat to answer that question.
Yeah, so I just have to really quickly second what they're saying about just like walking the route of your classes. That definitely comes in handy if you are navigationally challenged like myself, and just like going into the buildings, finding the room number, so that when it comes down to like that first day of class, you don't have to feel stressed about finding things and you just already know where it's at. But adding to what Addie said, I definitely think it's also important before the first week of classes to really get some good supplies. Just to make sure that going into everything you're super prepared. The supplies that I personally really like to use is like a good notebook, some pens, definitely flashcards came in handy for me, highlighters, and also just like a really solid go-to planner that you can make sure you're on top of to keep track of all those deadlines and things like that.
Always comes back to the planner, going first, full circle to Alice's answer at the beginning. That planner is huge. Thank you so much for that great advice, Nat. But yeah, so now we will go on to question number 8. This question is going to be for Addie and for Shelby. So this question is a laptop necessary? And is there a place that provides students with laptops if they do not have one? And we'll go from Addie first.
Yeah, I'm gonna backtrack. Sorry, I had to plug. Whether you're hybrid or virtual, our orientation program does have some tours going on. So if you want to look through those routes, you gotta go. You gotta go. And as for the laptop, I will say that it is very essential for you to have somewhere where you can access things. And I think on the internet, I think a laptop is much easier than your phone. I do know the PCL that Sean mentioned earlier is just like 3 to 5 minutes away from Jester, if even. And they do have some laptops, and it's a very quiet place. So that's a great place to get access to a computer if you don't have any. But I will say that having a laptop is very essential.
Absolutely agree. If at all possible, a laptop is super helpful. Yeah, and I really all to say about that. Yeah, but there's some options on campus. All right, and now I'll pass it over to Shelby.
Yeah, just to kind of second what Addie was saying, a laptop is very important and very convenient if you have your own, but there is also a computer store in the FAC, which is kind of closer to like the west side of campus. But you can definitely buy laptops there. They usually have discounts, so it's better to go there than to go to like an actual Apple store or HP store and buy your laptop there. And you can also use computers in the FAC, which is closer if you live in North Campus, like in Kinsolving or Durham. The FAC is a little bit closer than the PCL, but also, as Addie said, the PCL is still a great place that you can use laptops if you need so.
Great resources to mention there. Thank you both so much. Because even if like you bring a laptop, there might be a day you forget it, right? You left your backpack at home, lost it somewhere, or it's like I know, like a month into my time at UT, for some reason, like my laptop just shut down, like this little bug got in, so I had to like take it to the shop for a week, and I was like having to borrow other people's laptops. PCL came in clutch for me then, so yeah, great to mention the PCL and the FAC there. But yeah. All right, so now that has brought us to our final question. Can you believe we're here already? We're having so much fun. Time's flying. So this final question is going to be for Addie and for Arnold. And that question is, what is your number one piece of advice for preparing for college?
Back again. Okay. The one piece of advice I got is actually something my friend told me. I went to middle school with her, and now we go to UT together, and she's also an OA. Shout out Abby. Yeah, so the advice she gave me is when I first got on campus, it was like a week before classes started. She was like, just get lost. Like, don't know where you're going. And so that ended up happening. Like 2-3 days later, I got lost, didn't know where I was going, but it did end up helping because I found my way back and I kind of got familiar with campus and, started to understand like where buildings were located. And along the way, you'll realize that you like make friends because you'll find like friends of friends, maybe that like you've seen on like social media somewhere, and you like get to connect with them. So I feel like that's a great way to not only like learn your way around campus, but also meet some new people.
Super sweet, Addie. I had to give you the heart. Very cool commentary. And yeah, no, I think that getting lost, just putting yourself out there, and just being open to those new experiences and trying to figure things out on our own. A lot of the independency, a lot of feeling capable comes out of that, while also making some great friends, great memories. So thank you, Addie. And Arnold, I think it is you, Arnold. Yeah, Arnold, please go finish us out here.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you, Sean. So yeah, I'll definitely second Addie. Getting to know people is a great resource for preparing for college. You should have been exposed already if you have gone to orientation or will be exposed to group meet chats from your small groups. Group meet is a great way for students to connect with each other during the semester. A lot of classes will create a group chat just to have people to connect each other, help each other out. Forming study groups, getting to make friends and forming study groups are one of the best ways to be able to study. Having others to refer to for help if you don't know a question is a great way to learn. And as well as teaching others is one of the best ways to learn, in my opinion. If you know how to teach it, you definitely know the material. So that's a great way to prepare.
Mixing it up, Arnold giving us some like the academic side with the friend side, combining it, the piece de resistance of this OA panel. Thank you so much, y'all. That was a great answer from both Addie and Arnold. And I can't second that enough. Some of my greatest memories from my time at UT have just been either like, getting lost, figuring things out, or, making friends in study groups, staying up late, trying to figure things out. All that is awesome. And And yeah, so that brings an end to our panel here. We really hope that this helped y'all, maybe answer some of your questions as far as like, what are the things I need to bring? What are the things I need to do? What am I going to do once I get here? All those kind of questions you're probably thinking about. And I hope this makes it seem a little less overwhelming for y'all. And know that, once you come to orientation, and you meet the other students, and you have your OAs and your small group, all that kind of stuff, whether you're virtual or hybrid, any of the other questions you might have, feel free to like ask us, ask around in your groups. Everybody's trying to make friends, everybody's nervous, so just go out there, be yourself, try to be confident, and because you're gonna, as long as you put yourself out there, you're gonna have a great time at DT. So yeah, all that being said, thanks so much for coming. We love y'all, and we can't wait to see you on campus. Everybody give them a hook 'em. All right, woo, bye y'all.